الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور، ثم الذين كفروا بربهم يعدلون. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. الحمد لله الذي له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض، وله الحمد في الآخرة، وهو الحكيم الخبير. الحمد لله فاطر السماوات والأرض، جاعل الملائكة رسلا أولي أجنحة مثنى وثلاث ورباع، يزيد في الخلق ما يشاء، إن الله على كل شيء قدير. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وقائدنا ومرشدنا وحجتنا وشفيعنا محمد، وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين وصحبه أجمعين، ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة. عباد الله، أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله وطاعته، وأحثكم على التمسك بهدي قرآنه وسنة نبيه، فقد قال الله جل من قائل: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء، واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام، إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. صدق الله العظيم. My dear Muslim family, sisters and brothers, sons and daughters, what do spiders, bees, and ants have in common? And what distinguishes spiders from bees from ants? To start with, what they have in common, very simply, anyone, I'm sure, would say they are all insects. That's true. If we want to take a spiritual path and see things from a religious perspective, we can also say that there are surahs in the Quran. One surah is called bees. One surah is called ants. And one surah is called the spider. Did you get a hint quickly? Notice I said one surah, and rightly so, because I'm not making it myself. I said one surah is called bees, and one surah is called ants. And one surah is called the spider. For two of the insects, the surahs are called in the plural bees, ants. When it came to the spider, it did not say al-anakib, it said al-ankabut. And we will come to that. What else do they have in common? They have in common something that all three insects, God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala determined that they, each one of them, have something to teach that proud, arrogant human being. We learn from insects. How could that be? How can I learn from a spider? How can I learn from ants? How can I learn from bees? What do they have to teach me? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, Ya ayyuha al-insanu ma gharraka bi rabbika al-kareem. Wait a minute. You arrogant human being, stop and consider and stop being arrogant when it comes to things coming from your Lord, the all-generous, ربك الكريم الذي خلقك فسواك فعدلك. The God who created you and gave you your features and made you as perfect as you are, but that does not mean that you have nothing to learn from an insect. And that is why the same as he gave one surah your name, Surah Al-Insan, he gave those insects the honor of giving their names to three surahs of the Quran. So let's see, what do we have to learn from insects? To start with, I said that I will explore with you what these insects do not have in common. And I stressed as I was talking the S at the end of bees and the S at the end of ants, and I said the spider. Well, to start with, what these insects do not have in common is that bees and ants work together, live together, die together, do everything together as a community. Whereas a spider lives alone, fights alone, does not have any consideration for another spider. And that is why Allah, the all-wise, the all-knowing, even in the title, started to teach us and told us this is Surah An-Nahl, this is Surah An-Naml, but this is Surah Al-Ankabut. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us مثل الذين اتخذوا من دون الله أولياء كمثل العنكبوت اتخذت بيتا وإن أوهن البيوت لبيت العنكبوت لو كانوا يعلمون. إن الله يعلم ما تدعون من دونه من شيء وهو العزيز الحكيم وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس وما يعقلها إلا العالمون. خلق الله السماوات والأرض بالحق إن في ذلك لآية للمؤمنين اتل ما أوحي إليك من الكتاب وأقم الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. Why did I read it so long? Usually in a khutbah you want to quote something short and then keep on going. I couldn't. I could not dissect and separate, because I was talking about something that started by talking about the example of the house that is not a home. It's a house of the spider alone. One spider, one house. This house does not turn into a home because it has no properties of a home. It has no property of a community. It's a very weak community. Oh, I said community. It's not a community. It's a weak home, albeit if it is analyzed as far as the structure of this house, as I mentioned earlier in many khutbahs before, that they found the thread of the house of the spider is stronger than steel. Measurement to measurement. The only material created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stronger than the thread of the house of the spider is quartz. That's it. So being that strong, yet it is the weakest of homes, because the spider lives alone. The spider lives alone. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that such examples are so significant, yet only those who have wit, who listen and reflect and understand will really understand what they mean. And before I continue, I just want to quote from another surah, Surah Al-Mulk, Surah Tabarak. We know that as the people stand in front of the hellfire and they are about to enter the hellfire, what will they say? وَقَالُوا لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ أَوْ نَعْقِلُ مَا كُنَّا فِي أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ فَاعْتَرَفُوا بِذَنبِهِمْ فَسُحْقًا لِأَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. They will say, had we listened instead of heard, because many people hear all kinds of things, but very few listen. Many people wake up in the morning now in the spring, as the spring is shyly coming upon us. Many people may not listen to the singing of the birds as they are celebrating spring, but try tomorrow, as the temperature is promising to rise and the spring, God willing, will be upon us to celebrate. Let us celebrate with the birds tomorrow when we wake up for Fajr. If you don't wake up for Fajr, wallahi, you will miss a big concert. Did I say concert? Yes. And I said it on purpose. I said it on purpose. Imagine all of us now will go and attend a concert. I know we have a stand against those environments where someone famous, a famous singer, a famous piano player, a famous saxophonist, a famous somebody that is known throughout the world, and he or she will finish or start playing the piano. What do we know about the performance of such a famous piano player or a singer? We know, we've seen it on television, we've seen it on the internet, that those who are in attendance will rise as many times as they want, and they do something. You know what they do? They do something called standing ovation. They stand up and they start to clap. Why do they do that? Because they want to express that which is inside them. Their soul was overwhelmed by the perfectionist performance of that singer or that piano player or whoever it is. They stand and they clap. You know what ovation means in English? It means praising, showing praise, They want to show that person, human being, how much they want to praise collectively, so they clap and they stand. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how uninterrupted is His performance right from the creation of the universe, where He created all kinds of things. He created galaxies that we, the arrogant humans, cannot even understand how big they are, yet they exist. He created suns and stars so much bigger than our sun, to the extent that if we want to draw our sun and the furthest, biggest star comparable to the sun, if we draw that one, and then we want to maintain the ratio of size, we cannot even put a dot to represent our sun. That's how small our sun becomes. That's how big the stars and the suns that Allah created. And He also created something called the electron and positron, something that follows the same pattern of existence, yet we cannot see except by using sophisticated tools. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who created the Majarrah, the galaxy, and created the atom and the electron and the cell, created flowers, created plants that follow the sun. Wherever the sun is, they follow the sun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created birds. Why am I talking with my own language? Let's come together from that standing ovation and the praise that people give to a singer or to a piano player, and let us now read some of the description of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uninterrupted is presenting to us. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In Surah Al-Baqarah, إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار والفلك التي تجري في البحر بما ينفع الناس وما أنزل الله من السماء من ماء فأحيا به الأرض بعد موتها وبث فيها من كل دابة وتصريف الرياح والسحاب المسخر بين السماء والأرض لآيات لقوم يعقلون وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل لقوم يعقلون. Let's now come very closely in Surah Al Imran. إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب الذين يذكرون الله قياما, standing ovation, وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك. Praise be to you, ovation unto you. ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك فقنا عذاب النار. Let's go now to the arus of the Quran, to Surah Al-Rahman. والأرض وضعها للأنام. والأرض, I will translate by the way. والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام. فيها فاكهة. When I will translate, I am forced to translate فاكهة as organic fruits. Why organic? Because we had to introduce the word organic to describe that فاكهة that grows on its own without intervention from us, without the chemicals that will make the strawberry that is that big. It will genetically make it so huge because we like that which is big, as we read in Surah Al-Ma'idah, that we as humans love that which is big, even though it is corrupt, even though it is bad, yet we like things that are big. But now we are discovering how healthy organic fruits are. فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. مرج البحرين, after a few آيات, يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يخرج منهما اللؤلؤ والمرجان. That is from the clean seas and oceans. Today we are told by Oxfam, the United Nations agencies, that wait a minute, your oceans are filthy, fish are dying, sea life is becoming extinct slowly, and birds are not the same size in their population as they used to be. Our food is affected. In 2030, we are told that food prices will become 90% more as they are today, to the point that 60% of the population of this earth will not afford to buy the cheapest of food. They can't. As a result, they will fight for it. As a result, life on this planet will become unbearable. We are eating this planet alive. We are living as if there is literally no tomorrow. This coming Tuesday, as it has been for the last 26 years, it will be called Earth Day. But polls are showing that we are becoming less and less sensitized when it comes to the environment. To be told that the greenhouse effect and this effect and that effect is going to suffocate us. Unfortunately, those who are making decisions now, they are not making decisions for their children and their grandchildren. They are making decisions to sit on chairs. But what do our children matter? To them, not much, because actions speak volumes. They can claim anything. And we Canadians, our government, we are told, is the biggest offender of the industrialized world. We are refusing to reduce the gas emissions of our factories that are killing this environment. Between 1980 and 2013, 33 years, natural disasters that were the result of climate change increased 5-fold. You know, the snowstorm that hit the Maritimes a few weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, It was called the storm of the century. A hurricane that brought snow with it. Usually it doesn't, but it did. And we know the tsunamis, and we know the volcanoes, and the list goes on and on and on, and it is on the rise. مثل الذين اتخذوا من دون الله أولياء. As I read in Surah Al-Ankabut, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, now this insect, the Ankabut, don't be like it, because it lives alone, it lives for itself. After it is close to dying, it doesn't care. It doesn't care. Unfortunately, we are living as spiders. Wallahi, even when we say Muslim communities, I am so uncomfortable to say communities. We are living for ourselves. Let's think of our children who are here today, because it is a Good Friday. Did I say a Good Friday? It is called Good Friday, but every Friday for us is a Good Friday. But this is the Friday they could take off and come and listen. And I want to tell all our children, listen children, if we are failing you, I am, like you are, finding on the internet that there are children who are teaching us lessons, because tomorrow belongs to you. It does not belong to us who are engaged in determining the map of the world. What does that matter? Islam came to abolish borders. And I know you can do it without fighting like we are doing. We are fighting in order to redraw lines. I know you will do what Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did. He opened borders by the declaration of La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. وَتِلْكَ الْأَمْثَالُ نَضْرِبُهَا لِلنَّاسِ. Such examples are given to people. وَمَا يَعْقِلُهَا إِلَّا الْعَالِمُونَ. خَلَقَ اللَّهُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. You know why I went to describing that which is in the Quran? Allah created all of this for us. Allah created the fruits, created everything. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, قُتِلَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا أَكْفَرَهُ مِنْ أَيِّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقَهُ مِنْ نُطْفَةٍ خَلَقَهُ فَقَدَّرَهُ ثُمَّ السَّبِيلَ يَسَّرَهُ ثُمَّ أَمَاتَهُ فَأَقْبَرَهُ ثُمَّ إِذَا شَاءَ أَنْشَرَهُ كَلَّا لَمَّا يَقْضِ مَا أَمَرَهُ فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ إِلَى طَعَامِهِ أَنَّا صَبَبْنَا الْمَاءَ صَبًّا ثُمَّ شَقَقْنَا الْأَرْضَ شَقًّا فأنبتنا فيها حبا وعنبا وقضبا وزيتونا ونخلا وحدائق غلبا متاعا لكم ولأنعامكم. It's okay, sometimes, when you are reading in a khutbah, you miss one, and I know I did. But I would like to say that the meaning here is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created all of that, and yet He is saying, how foolish you are. قُتِلَ الْإِنسَانُ مَا أَكْفَرَهُ. You are denying all of that. And Allah 31 times in the Arus of the Quran says, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. In Surah Al-Naml, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us about a person who respected the environment so much and was prepared to listen to an ant and appreciate the wisdom of an ant. حتى إذا أتوا على وادي النمل قالت نملة يا أيها النمل ادخلوا مساكنكم لا يحطمنكم سليمان وجنوده وهم لا يشعرون فتبسم ضاحكا من قولها وقال ربي أوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي وعلى والدي وأن أعمل صالحا ترضاه. Listen to this. وأن أعمل صالحا ترضاه. He did not say, here I am, I understand the language of insects and no one else from my species can understand their language. What did he say? He said, وأوزعني أن أشكر نعمتك التي أنعمت علي وعلى والدي وأن أعمل صالحا ترضاه. Please translate this appreciation into عمل صالح so that I can do that which pleases you. وأدخلني برحمتك في عبادك الصالحين. Ya Allah, make me among those who are accepted by you. I want all of us, I want our children, I want our mothers, our sisters, everybody to say, Ya Allah, accept our amal salih. Ya Allah, let us be examples for others. Now, one insect is left, and I will leave it for the second khutbah. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم فيا فوز المستغفرين. Make دعاء الله سبحانه وتعالى. He will accept our دعاء. آمين يا رب العالمين. الحمد لله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. In Surah An-Nahl, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us the story of their life. And by the way, their lives, the lives of bees, is not something that you can study in one sitting. There are volumes written about bees and how they produce the honey, how they form their hives, how they behave, what they do. And because of that importance of the honeybee, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who received the wahy, You know, when we say who received the wahy, meaning who received the communication from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ya Muhammad, don't now feel that you are the only one who received the wahy, because Allah sent wahy even to the bees. وَأَوْحَى رَبُّكَ إِلَى النَّحْلِ أَنِ اتَّخِذِي مِنَ الْجِبَالِ بُيُوتًا وَمِنَ الشَّجَرِ وَمِمَّا يَعْرُشُونَ ثُمَّ كُلِي مِنْ كُلِّ الثَّمَرَاتِ فَاسْلُكِي سُبُلَ رَبِّكِ ذُلَلًا يَخْرُجُ مِنْ بُطُونِهَا شَرَابٌ مُخْتَلِفٌ أَلْوَانُهُ فِيهِ شِفَاءٌ لِلنَّاسِ. Now, I want you after the khutbah to go open the Quran and see how did Surah Al-Nahl start. How much of space did it take to talk about? Would you like to know about what? About what? About the things I just mentioned from Surah Al-Baqarah and Surah Al-Imran and Surah Al-Rahman and Surah Tabarak. Yes, I forgot to mention أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا إِلَى الطَّيْرِ فَوْقَهُمْ صَافَّاتٍ وَيُقْبِضْنَ مَا يُمْسِكُهُنَّ إِلَّا الرَّحْمَنِ. Ya Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, you know, didn't you enjoy bird watching? Anyway, in Surah Al-Nahl, go and check for yourself that a long space is taken to talk about the creation of the heavens and the earth and the birds and the fruits and the nahl and the rumman and all of the beautiful things that we are killing these days. And then after he tells us all of that, describing in about 3.5 pages, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, and Allah gave revelation to the bees that you can build your hives in mountains, on trees, and in that which is farmed by humans, وَمِمَّا يَعْرُشُونَ, that we sometimes make those hives and we let them start so that they will complete the things that the bees do that we need to learn from. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to us that the bees go to different kinds of flowers, and you know what? It was known that when bees get to flower, to get from it that honey that they make, before they take it, they give the flowers something called pollen. They are the ones that pollinate from male flowers to female flowers. So they go to the males, they take the pollen. In order to bring it to the female flowers, they deposit the pollen and then they take what they want. Before we take from earth, let us learn what the bees do by giving earth. By giving earth something instead of deforestation. We are taking forests out and building cement structures. This is not how earth will survive. And you know what? Bees, by the way, if they go to a flower and they find that this flower has already been used by another bee, they don't go to it again. They go and search for another bee, for another flower. Whereas humans, if we know that somebody established a business somewhere and they learn that they go and they kill the market for that person instead of supporting each other. And you know what? Bees, talking about support, if they find a place where there are lots of unused flowers, that bee that made the discovery goes to the family of bees and starts to make a bee dance in front of them and says, follow me, follow me, I found some rizq, I found something. And they follow and they start to enjoy it as well. You know what we do? Do I have to say it? If we discover something in the market, we say, please keep your mouth shut. Don't say to anybody, I don't want to lose it. As if rizq, when discovered by others, it will go away from you. This is a testimony that we don't believe that rizq is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what we do, and this is what bees do. You know, bees, when they come and they want to extract from the flower, you know, they know, as if, because Allah made wahi to them, so they know that they are heavier than the flower, so they don't sit on the flower because they will break it. They are heavier. You know what they do? They keep on hovering over the flower and they take what they want as they are hovering. They don't sit. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. You know, we, suffice to say, we don't behave like bees. We don't behave like ants. We are behaving like that insect that Allah said, beware, don't be like the spider. So we became like the spider, and we did not become like bees and ants. Finally, I would like to say finally, I'm sorry I took longer, but this is malish. I hope that our children will take the lesson. I hope that our children will take the lesson, and I want to say something, that there are many examples that we can cast from the bee example on our community. Our community together, we have, you know, as you came, you know how many of you found a place to park their car and they said, and I'm saying it, you did not say it, but you felt it that way, I know that. You said, let me park here now. What happens to those coming behind me? I just found it. You know how busy this place is, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. But at the same time, we know that we have what it takes to give the pollen to this center. Yet, we stand and we say, we need to grow, this is our home. We say, Malish, this is your home. but I would like to continue living like a spider. I will spend my money on me instead of spending my money on us. So I'm calling on you. Today is a day when there are lots of us. Let's show by example that inshallah we will grow in this center. We don't want the second phase to be in 10 years. We want to continue to grow. Summer is coming. We want to make our parking lot. We want to grow behind, and we want to do something for our children and for the environment and for Tuesday Earth Day. We want every day. We want Muslims and Islam to be the example. Go and read the Quran, enjoy the Quran, and be like the bee. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وخطايانا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم علمنا من ديننا ما جهلنا وذكرنا منه ما نسينا وكن معنا ولا تكن علينا. عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون وأقم الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر.